Hello, and welcome to the Divorced Dadvocate, divorce support for dads, where we help dads create a healthy and less traumatic divorce. My name is Jude Sandoval, and I'm your host. I created this podcast and the Divorced Advocate community as a result of my own high conflict divorce, and because you as a dad deserve all the resources necessary to thrive through this challenging time. I encourage you to check out our website at thedivorcedadvocate.com, where there are resources that correspond to this episode, as well as free access to our membership community, where you will find live meetings, free workshops and courses, private discussion groups, and more. And now on to this week's episode. Welcome, and we are in the last week of a three-part series on the power of self-reflection. Hope that you've enjoyed the first 2 weeks, the first being understanding self-reflection and its significance. The second week, last week, being the 7 core principles for self-reflection. And this week, we're going to wrap up with 10 questions you should ask yourself. But before we do that, quick show notes. The divorce quiz is still up at the website at thedivorcedadvocate.com or directly at thedivorcequiz.com. Check it out. It's a great tool to gauge where you're at in your divorce compared to where others have been going through the process. It'll give you some immediate results and an opportunity for us to sit down and chat about those results or anything you've got going on with your divorce. So it's a great tool. Check it out. And it's been helping a lot of men. We've been having a lot of calls and going through those and helping folks figure out where they're at, what they're doing well, what's going well, and what they can work on. The second show note is exciting for me, and that is the Divorced Dadvocate app is up and available on both the Apple and Google Android stores. So I want you to pause this now, wherever or however you're listening, and go to thedivorcedadvocateapp.com, thedivorcedadvocateapp.com, and download that right away. If you do that now, so it's not 100% developed. So part of what I'm doing here is offering this upfront for completely free. There are so many resources in this. There are courses, there's journaling prompts, there's all the podcasts are hosted there. So I'm offering this free. If you download it and register, you'll have access to the entire app. Now, here's the thing is I don't have everything loaded out yet, but you're going to keep getting some updates of more of the courses and more of the things that are being built in there. The reason I'm doing this is to motivate my developer also. Hopefully they're going to see all of you downloading this app so much that I'm going to motivate them to get this thing done. This has been a labor of love for, oh man, I can't even count the months. I've lost count, but it is going to be an awesome, awesome resource. It is going to house absolutely everything that the Divorced Advocate community has to offer within this app. So go to thedivorcedadvocateapp.com and download it now, register, and you're going to have access to everything in there. It is so phenomenal. There's so many resources. All right, let's jump into our final week of the power of self-reflection. And I've got an exciting guest that's going to help us to take what we've talked about all of these 3 weeks, and then provide an opportunity for you to utilize what we've talked about here and do some more work around it. And so I'm excited. I'm not telling you who it is. It's going to be really, really awesome. I've done work with him and the program, and it is absolutely, I'm not lying here. It is absolutely life-changing. It has been absolutely life-changing for me. So it's going to be fantastic. Also, this third part is the third chapter in my ebook, The Power of Self-Reflection. So if you would like to read the rest of the tips that we're talking about, the rest of the chapters of The Power of Self-Reflection, you can go to powerofselfreflection.com and you can download the entire ebook for free. So you can read through these 3 chapters that we talked about and the rest of the book and check everything else out. It'll be great if you can download that, read through it before next week and before we have my special guest next week, because it's going to provide you all kinds of information. It's got so much, even just this week, and we're going to be talking about the 10 questions you should ask yourself. 10 really important questions this week that we're going to talk about. But the rest of the ebook has so much more stuff as well that I think that you're going to find incredibly valuable. So you can find that right now at powerofselfreflection.com. Download the ebook, and you can even follow along if you want right now with these 10 questions that you should ask yourself about self-reflection. And let's jump in. Let's be honest. It's a little bit scary thinking about what we're going through right now, what you're going through during your divorce. I know it was for me, with everything being so chaotic, so uncertain through this process. And so self-reflection became, for me, a process that was important. Now, you've heard me talk about it the last 2 weeks. I didn't do enough of this. Okay, I did obviously some, but probably not. I probably did not dive into this quite enough, and did not seize the opportunity that I had, that was given to me, to really stop, pay attention to why this was happening in my life, and go forward and do things like ask myself these 10 questions, and then do the self-reflection and come up with some answers and make the changes in my life. I waited until I got my butt kicked, a few more years, probably at least, until I dove into this in any serious regard. So if you're listening, I know that's not you, because you're trying to figure out a way to get better, get through this, utilize it as an opportunity. Even if you don't see that yet, I promise you that it is. And then check in with your life about how it is that you want to proceed and go through this divorce and come out on the other end. So question number 1, am I using my time wisely? Now, this is going to be a huge one. I promise you, if you're just in the process of this and you're starting to become a single dad, and you've been in the family dynamic, and now you're going to be a single dad, and all the responsibility of raising kids and doing everything that you were doing with as a couple together now falls on you individually. It is an immense amount of work. It takes a great deal of effort. I don't care what single parent you talk to, men or women, mothers or fathers, that being a single parent is an immense amount of effort. So are you using your time weekly? No, and so here's the thing with time is, we are all given the same amount of time, no matter who we are, no matter rich, poor, anything about us, we all have the same amount of time. So that's the first one I ask you to think about is, am I using my time wisely? Now, obviously, you need to do things like refresh, relax. We're going to talk about self-care a little bit more in one of the questions with physical activity or physical fitness, et cetera. But really taking the time to understand where you're applying your time is going to be helpful. And I did this in an exercise with a coach back a couple of years ago. And I'm going to give you a quick tip to help you to gauge how much time you're spending in activities that are beneficial for you. And that is, just take a sheet of paper, or if you've got a notepad on your phone, and every half hour, check in with what you've done for that half hour and just write it. Just the time, 30 minutes, I recorded my podcast. 30 minutes, I scrolled social media. And then at the end of the day, put the categories and calculate up that time. At the end of the week, calculate it all together, see where you're spending your time. And then take that into a ratio of how much time you've got during the day, whatever that might be, 15 hours, 18 hours, however many hours you're usually awake, and see what percentage of time you're spending on stuff. I'm telling you, it's going to be eye-opening. It was for me, and it helped me to do the next step, which was begin time blocking. And time blocking is weekly, or at least for me, weekly and then daily, putting together a calendar of what I'm doing every moment that I am awake throughout the day. And that means even scheduling leisure time throughout the day or throughout the week, days off, etc. And if you don't, and I'm not going to get into the details of the time blocking, you can Google it. There's lots of books on it. There's lots of efficiency books right now, but time blocking can be absolutely huge for you. And again, listen, when we're going through this and we've got to work, now we got to learn how to pick up the kids, prepare dinner, get homework done, pay the bills, try to take care of ourselves and get to the gym or get to our therapist or coach or do whatever we need to do. Time blocking is going to be huge for you to be able to get all that done and be efficient and productive in your life. So, and help you just get through it, right? I mean, when we're not getting through things, we're not getting stuff done, it weighs on our mind heavily. So the time blocking is absolutely huge. Number 2, am I taking anything for granted? Well, I'm sure if you're listening again, you're not taking much for granted, but sometimes we do. You know, we become blind to see and appreciate the blessings we have, particularly during challenging times like divorce. It becomes overwhelming and it becomes a difficult and painful time. And it can be hard for us to count our blessings. But I promise that if we take the time to do that, we can find many, many things. And here's a little fun, I don't know if, it's fun. A fun fact is that your mind cannot be in 2 feelings at once or 2 emotions at once. So why is that fun, or why can this could even be you can even consider this a hack. It is a hack because if you are in an emotion that is something that is not benefiting you at the time, at the moment, let's say you're in the middle of the day and your thoughts are going into thinking about the past, and you're getting depressed, you're thinking about the chaos of what's going on and the uncertainty of the future, and you're getting anxious and worried about it, and you need to get to the present moment. If you simply will get yourself into a mindset of gratitude, you cannot feel those other emotions at the same time that you're feeling gratitude. And so how do you do that? I have one simple trick that I've used for years now, and that is just stopping when I get into that, when I identify that I'm in that thought process, that feeling depressed or ruminating or projecting, whatever it is, and I stop. If I have the time, if you have the time, but this just takes a minute, so you can go to the bathroom or close your office door and write as many things that you are grateful for at that moment. And this can be simple, and try to get to 100. So that was my goal, get to the 100. That can be hard in just a few minutes, but the mentality is that you're getting yourself out of what other emotion and feeling that you're having and getting into gratitude, because an emotion is only going to last about 19-20 seconds. So if you can redirect your emotion to something else, into that gratitude, then you're going to move away from that in 19-20 seconds. So if you can do this for at least a half a minute or a minute, you're going to start into gratitude. It can be as simple as I'm grateful for that I had a meal this morning. I'm grateful for my phone. I'm grateful for my office. I'm grateful for coffee in the morning. Whatever it is. It can be simple stuff that you write, but what it's doing is it's then rewiring your brain into a grateful mindset and moving away from whatever the other emotion was. So that's huge. It can be really, really great to get into that gratitude mindset. And then here's what happens is eventually that starts to happen automatically. You rewire your brain to go to gratitude as soon as something else comes up, because you've patterned yourself. You've created a routine that moves you away from that mental emotion or feeling into something else by physically writing out or on your phone typing out a gratitude list. And so then what's happening is your behavior is following your actions, and then it starts to become automatic in your mind. So after years, I've been fortunate enough to be able to do this enough times that I will go into a mindset of gratitude when I identify. Now that's the key. When we've talked about identifying in the past, identifying emotions, and our guest next week is going to have some really great resources for being able to identify emotions, feelings, and then what to do with them and how to do it with them, etc. So then you're able to move it away from that into an automatic mindset of gratitude. Okay, that's enough on that. That's that's number 2. If I keep talking, I'm so excited about these 10 questions because they're really, really excellent. And capping off these 3 weeks is phenomenal. Again, download the ebook at the powerofselfreflection.com, and then you can read all of these questions as well. All right, number 3, what perspective do I hold? Is the perspective that you're holding, and we called it, we kind of call this a state of mind. Your perspective, is your state of mind healthy? Is it negative? How do you look at things? Some people have very rigid and perspective and constrained perspective, and are not willing to look or reframe their thought process. We call it reframing it, looking at it from a different light or a different angle or a different perspective. And one of my biggest aha moments was realizing that God or the universe is working for me and not against me. Now, again, I know that this is a hard one, particularly if you're in a high conflict divorce or a challenging and painful time. But looking back now, I have been able to, and lots of the men that are part of the community have been able to look back and say, oh man, I see what was happening in my life then and why it was moving me in the direction that I needed to move. And it didn't feel good then. It was painful. It was challenging. I didn't want it to happen. I may have been fighting against it and pushing back against it. But now I see that this was all working for me to get me to move in the direction that I need. So the question to ask yourself within this question of what perspective do I hold is, what do I need to learn from each circumstance that might come up? So if you have the mindset that the universe or God, whatever you believe in, is moving you in a direction for your good, is working for you and is working in a quote unquote positive manner, then what is it that I need to learn from this situation in order to move forward and grow or heal during this process? So that's number 3, your perspective, your reframe of what's going on in your life.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jude with a quick reminder about the Divorced Advocate Foundation for Fathers, which is our nonprofit that helps dads through divorce with legal education, free or reduced cost coaching, and mental health resources. If you own a business or know someone who does, there's an easy way to help by connecting credit card processing through our partner program. Part of the fees go straight to the foundation with no added cost to the business, and 98% of businesses are actually able to save money on their processing fees. It's a win-win. So if you know a business that accepts credit cards, get them in touch with me by sending a warm introduction email to jude@thedivorcedadvocate.com or give me a call directly at 720-255-1021. Number 4, am I living true to myself? Now this one's a little more challenging. Steve Marabelli has mentioned that we're not being true to ourselves if we're neglecting to not live in alignment, and we have several conflicts we have in our lives. So what does that mean? It means, are you living the life that you want to live? Do you think that you're deceiving yourself or not? And so this can be a little bit challenging. Our circumstances and actions must be consciously evaluated. Now, sometimes it's always really helpful to have a third-party perspective on this. And that third-party perspective can be a friend, a family member, although be careful with friends or family members because they have a vested interest in maybe not giving you an unvarnished assessment of what's going on. A therapist, a coach, somebody like that can really give you, somebody that is wanting to get you to the result that you want is going to give you a much more honest opinion about what's going on and a much less biased opinion. So if you can afford therapy, if you have the means for a coach or therapy and a coach, which is the absolute epitome and best way, in my opinion, to go through this process, then utilize that, or church groups or 12-step groups or whatever it is that you have as a resource in your community or in your life to be able to help you to make a fair assessment about whether or not you're living your true self. And you can ask the question, is this thought or action moving me towards my highest vision and direction? Now, that is predicated on the fact that you or not the fact, but whether or not you have taken the time to create the vision and direction that you want to move in. So if you have, and that's our first step in the Dad's Guide to Divorce, and if you haven't looked at that or you haven't heard about that or downloaded it yet, it's a free resource in our community. It's at the website under the Dad's Guide to Divorce tab, or you can go to dadsguidetodivorce.com and download it. It's the same 5-step process I've used in my life and getting through my divorce. It's the same 5-step process that I use with all the private coaching clients. And the first one is creating your vision and direction. So once you've created that, the question you ask around, am I living my true self, is, are these questions or are these thoughts, are these actions moving me towards my vision and direction? And so if they're not, then you're not living your true self. You're not being true to yourself in what your thoughts and what your actions are. So this is an exercise I work. It's one of the first ones that I work with clients in creating that, because your opportunity here is it's going to change. Your life is changing. There was no question about it. You're going through a divorce. We've gone through it. It's going to be a completely dynamic. You have the power. You're empowered now to create this vision and direction for yourself. This may not have been your choice up to now, but you do have the choice going forward to create that vision and direction and work towards that and how you want to see that happen. We're going to have a little bit more on the next questions coming up here too. So, am I living true to myself is number 4. Number 5, how do I wake up in the morning? This is a great one in creating a morning routine. Your day depends upon what you do when you first wake up in the morning. If you first wake up in the morning, you're scrolling social media feeds, you're filling your body full of crappy food, you get in a headspace that is not a positive, start thinking about all the things that you got to do in the day, or have kids screaming and yelling, and you're rolling out of the bed and don't have a structured way in which to start your day, that chaos is not going to stop. It starts that way, and it's going to go through the rest of the day until the chaos ends and you pass out at the end of the day. It's called getting yourself in a state of mind to have a successful day. The best way to do that is creating a morning routine. That might look like something around, I wake up and I journal for 5 minutes. During your sleep, and we're going to talk about this in the next question. During your sleep, your mind, your subconscious is solving problems. It's working on things while you're sleeping. Your body's healing. It's doing all kinds of work. And when you wake up in the morning is the moment where you are the most creative and have the most insight into your life and into the potential for your day. So you want to create a morning routine that's going to tap into that and then set the tone for the rest of the day. Journaling is a great one first thing in the morning. For me, it's prayer and journaling, and then going and accomplishing something, getting out of bed, fixing the bed. I go to the gym first thing in the morning and accomplish that before I'm reading emails, before I'm looking at the news, before I'm doing anything, before I get up before the kids get up. Because hey, we all know once the kids get up, it's all fluid, right? So getting that and getting those things and getting in state, then I get ready. I've got music, or I've got something that I'm listening to that's getting my mind in state before everything else starts to happen. Because then once you're out in that world, and once all the chaos with the divorce and with the kids and with everything else that we've got going on in the world happens, then you have that solid foundation, that state that you can access, that you've readied yourself for throughout the day with your morning routine. So start small. Start with one thing. Start with one thing tomorrow, which could be, I'm going to get up 5 minutes earlier than I usually do, and I'm going to journal for 5 minutes. Find some journal prompts. You can Google journal prompts everywhere. Get some prompts, or just do some free-flowing journaling and do that for 5 minutes. Do that for 2 or 3 weeks until that becomes a routine for you. Then add the next thing. Maybe a half hour earlier, you're going to get up and do some exercise, or just go for a walk. You're going to journal for 5 minutes. You're going to go for a walk for 15, extra 20 minutes in your day. Because you did that step one and looked and saw that you're screwing off for 20 minutes, you know you've got 20 minutes that you can dedicate in your morning, because you scroll social media for 20 minutes at some point in your day, every single day, that you can take out of your life and include walking for 15 minutes and journaling for 5. That's going to set the tone in your morning routine for the rest of the day. Start doing that then. Journaling, and then you add the walking for 15 minutes. Do that for 2-3 weeks. It becomes a routine. You start building this routine, and that's one of the next steps. So we're strategizing actions around what you need to do in order to achieve your clarity and achieve your vision and direction. And then you're upgrading your skills. You're getting better at journaling. You're walking and getting healthier, optimizing your environment by implementing each of these things. And then through it all, what's happening is you're mastering your psychology. You've accomplished something. So you are telling yourself in the first thing in the morning that you are accomplishing something. You got up and you got out of bed. 1 thing. You journal. 2 things. You went for a walk. 3 things. You made your bed. 4 things. You took a shower. You got ready. 5 things. Right there, you've accomplished stuff. You're telling your brain that you are an accomplishing machine. So you are reprogramming your mind that you are in control of what's going on in your life. So, hey, you might not know what's going to happen that day with your divorce or with the kids or everything else, but your mind's going, okay, I'm problem solving. I can fix things. I can do this stuff. I can get this stuff done. That's why that morning routine is absolutely unbelievably important. So again, we can work through these steps in getting there in coaching and talking about those, or check out Dad's Guide to Divorce at dadsguidedivorce.com. It'll take you through the steps in a general manner, but you can utilize that as a resource to work on doing this. All right. I'm talking fast here, my friends. This is a lot to get through this week, a lot of information, but I'm so excited because it's just wrapping up all 3 of our weeks for our guest that's coming on next week. And again, check out the ebook at powerofselfreflection.com. Number 6, question to ask. Number 6 is, what do I think about before I sleep? Now, I just talked about this in the fact that our subconscious is always working throughout our sleep cycles, throughout the time that we're sleeping. And Thomas Edison always said, never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious. So what do you think about before sleep? What is it that you're doing? And again, so like you have a morning routine, I highly recommend creating an evening pre-bedtime routine. One of those things would be shutting down all of your electronics. It screws with your mental, emotional state and in your ability to get into a relaxed state, to fall asleep, and then have good sleep and get through those sleep cycles. So shut it down at least a half hour, if not an hour before. I'll be honest, I'm guilty of this some of the time. I'm scrolling real quick, maybe emails or something last minute before bed. Bad idea. Just shut it down. Find a time. Same thing with the TV or anything else. Shut it down. Start some time. Maybe one of the things I do again at the end of the day for me is prayer prayer at the end of the day. It can be, a lot of people journal. I don't do it at the end of the day, but you can do a dump at the end of the day with journaling. Sometimes it can be a meditation. It can be listening to just some music that helps you relax, or sitting out on the patio. I love to sit out on a patio. We got a fountain in the backyard, and we have some, in the summer, tiki torches, and I listen to some music, and I'll do that maybe for a half hour before bed and listen to something relaxing. So find something before bed to get you in that, again, that's a state that you're ready. And then when you go to sleep, ask your subconscious for something. Maybe there's a problem that you're working through. Maybe there's a challenge with the divorce. Maybe there's something with the kids. Have a request for your subconscious when you're going to sleep, and think about something around that. Now, don't ruminate on something negative. Don't just be laying there going, oh, this is difficult, or that's bad, or et cetera. That's why prayer is really good, or meditation, maybe some kind of positive meditation before you're going to bed, can be really, really beneficial. But utilize that. Hey, we've got this time, we're sleeping. Oh, I'll give you one more hack. This is actually probably the only hack I know of and I have in my life that is absolutely beneficial and absolutely works. I'm not a fan of hacks. There's really no real hack. Everything takes an effort. This one literally takes no effort, because we're sleeping however many hours you sleep. Mine is 7.5. So I've got a sleep mask that has earbuds built into it, and it's Bluetooth, and it connects to my phone. I put on positive affirmations. I do this at least 2 or 3 times a week right now. I used to do it every day, did it every day for a very, very long time. And those positive affirmations are telling you something that you want, depending on what you choose, telling you something that you want to change in your life. So maybe that's a financial situation. You can find, and you can just go to YouTube and find positive affirmations, finances, or positive affirmations, relationships, or positive affirmations, love. It can be whatever you want. And they have some on there that will just play for 8-9 hours. And it's somebody talking to you, and you're listening to it in your headphones. You don't have to do it. I have the whole sleep mask thing because this is all my routine. You can just put earbuds in, or headphones, or however you want to sleep. Don't strangle yourself with wired ones, but you can put those in and sleep with them. And here's the thing, your mind doesn't know the difference. So for me, I've done work in trying to unwind my codependent nature and listen to things over and over again that are positive affirmations about stating what my needs are, being true to my feelings, understanding what my feelings were, etc. Your subconscious, your brain does not know the difference that it's somebody that was meaningful in your life, or it's a YouTube channel that's telling you. It's just getting the information, and then it's processing. So what you're literally doing without any effort other than falling asleep is, again, reprogramming those, or just you're actually programming. It's kind of reprogramming, because you're taking away from what may have been negative, but you're programming new neural pathways that are beneficial to you by doing nothing. It's a literal hack. You're doing absolutely nothing other than sleeping, and you're listening while you're sleeping, and your subconscious is hearing that and programming those neural pathways. It is absolutely awesome and amazing way I promise you, you will see results. You'll see results in your mindset that we were talking about, in your perspective. We were talking about one of the earlier questions, in no time at all. It is absolutely amazing. To hear the rest of this episode and access the corresponding resources, visit thedivorcedadvocate.com and become a member of our community. It's free to join and will provide you with the resources you deserve as a divorced or divorcing dad. Thank you for listening. God bless, and I'll talk with you next week.